Welcome to the Inflection Podcast, where we explore the pivotal moments that have shaped us into who we are today. I am your host, Anebi, and I can't wait to dive into these moments with you. Let's get it. So it's amazing to be talking with you again, Phil. I remember the last time we spoke was a little over a year, about a year ago, actually. I would say, 11 months? Because we both had little kids at the time. We were just born.
Time
Uh,
flies, right? Yeah, it flies, or it doesn't fly when you have a baby that doesn't sleep. But yeah,
yeah. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Is yours a daughter as well or a boy?
yeah, daughter, she's great. I mean, it's
Uh,
awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, I cannot wait for just one night of 8 hours sleep. I see people on Twitter, they post like images of their, tracked sleep metrics and all of this. I'm just like, and they're moaning about 7 hours sleep. And I'm like, try having 4 hours sleep for a year and a half.
oh man.
I wouldn't
You
want any
you
more.
you've been productive regardless. It seems like you've been busy beyond taking care of the baby and being a great dad. You've been working on your 4-day work week job
Yeah.
board and more. I see you've done more. When we spoke at the time, you had just started. You were getting things rolling, and that's part of what I want to unpack on this episode, right? Getting to the why behind
Mhm.
that, getting 4-day week going. So what did that look like? Data scientists doing well. Why the heck did you decide to go that route with 4-day
Mm.
week?
Honestly, sometimes I think about that, like how crazy it is in hindsight. I had a good job. I spent my whole career becoming a data scientist. And then one day I just went, stuff it. I'm going to give this job board thing a go. But I mean, it initially started from my own frustration. So the background to the website is it's a job board for jobs with a 4-day work week, 4-day week. And it came from my own frustration. I always felt the week was long, just personally, I'm not ashamed to say it. And
Yeah.
also on Fridays, people were just not really working. There was a lot of table tennis. It just was very unproductive. And I was traveling 3 hours per day to
Wow.
go in on a Friday, each 1.5 hours each way. And people were playing table tennis for 3 hours. And it's just, this doesn't seem right. So anyway, I went home, looked online, see if there was any companies that had a 4-day work week, of which there were a few. But if you try to find these jobs on LinkedIn, wherever job board, it's very difficult to really nail down those. So, I mean, the very long story short is I just put something together and like, honestly, 2 days, it did nothing. It was just like an image, essentially. If it wasn't even a website, it just
Yeah.
showed some jobs that, could potentially have a short working week, put a big sign up button on it. And lo and behold, posted it to Hacker News and hundreds of people signed up within the first.
Oh
So
my
that was what
gosh.
really got me going. That was like, okay, if I can find these jobs and present them in a nice way, the traffic hopefully will come. And that's where it started, but we can dig into more, I guess, in the podcast.
Yeah, totally. That is fascinating and a perfect example of when, oh, shucks, I just found a market opportunity
Mhm.
getting that out there. So you posted it on Hacker News, right?
Yeah, Hacker
First,
News.
are there other forums you posted and got more signups from as you look back now that may have helped with your growth?
A little bit, but like Reddit, all the rest of the places, Twitter. I had a very small Twitter following, but really it went viral on Hacker News, went to the front page. And if
Oh my
anyone who
gosh.
went to the front page on Hacker News, that website gets a lot of traffic. It is insane how much traffic. It kind of blew my mind. It's thousands and thousands. My website could barely hold it, but it was all in Webflow. It was just a very basic website, so it held together. And but yeah, from there, that's not a scalable marketing plan. You can't just post on Hacker News every day. It's a very fickle crowd. They're a very picky audience, shall we say.
Yeah.
So over time, the kind of strategy switched to SEO, just trying to get on Google. That's where it's gone from there.
And now you're an SEO pro. You have a course. You have a course on SEO too, right?
Yeah, I do audits, so helping people with their SEO. To be honest with you, that started at the beginning of the year when the job market, just being very honest, the job market was very bad. Still not amazing at the moment. When Google and Amazon and all of the other companies were making all of these layoffs, the hiring just stopped. I actually seen firsthand and experienced what recession feels like almost when all the job adverts just get dry up. So at that point, I've got a baby. I don't have an income in the form of a job. So I'm just looking for other ways to diversify, and a bit of consulting work with the SEO was a nice way to bridge the harder times. But I'm not doing as many of them at the moment, really. More focused on the job board.
Yeah. And so you started with a focus on 4-day week. Have you diversified in the focus of the job board?
Yes, a little bit actually. So the thing about the 4-day week is there are not many companies offering it, but there
Yeah.
are millions of people who want it. So I've been branching out a little bit into different types of 4-day week. So you have a normal 4-day week, 4 normal days, and then you have a 4.5 day week. You have a 4-day week during the summer. You have a 4-day week every second week. You have a 4-day
Uh,
week with less pay, and then you have part-time jobs. So there's like many different types, and I'm just branching out ever so slightly. In time, hopefully, I want to just keep the 4-day week job. So that's the holy grail.
yeah. What was one of the biggest, would you say, challenges with 4-day week? With
Mhm.
because many companies, right, were used to the paradigm, companies and individuals, paradigm of 5 days work week. You
Mhm.
go in, you work Monday through Friday. So for you, I feel like you have twofold. You not only have to socialize it, you not
Mhm.
only have to find companies that are currently doing 4-day weeks, but also finding others who might be on the fence, and you need to flip
Mhm.
them to get them on
Yeah.
the board.
Being honestly, most of the companies that have a 4-day week, they're already on that track. It's very difficult to change a whole company. Although I feel like I've influenced a few in the right direction.
Yeah.
Most of them are experimenting, just thinking about what's beyond remote work. When everyone went remote, if you offered remote working, that was no longer like a unique benefit because everyone has it.
Yeah.
So companies are trying new things, and 4-day week was one of them. There were many challenges. The hardest thing with the job boards, to be honest, is the kind of cold start problem. If you don't list jobs, no one comes. But if you don't get companies to pay, you don't get any money. It's
Yeah.
kind of a hard balancing act where you need to add jobs for free to begin with to attract those people. And it's just a balancing act of a two-sided marketplace. But yeah,
Yeah.
other challenges, honestly, like I feel like on LinkedIn lately, I've made myself a little bit unemployable because I'm just giving so much hate to the 5-day week. And I always think if this goes wrong, I'm gonna look. It's funny, but yeah, the challenges are more with marketing. The easy part is normally well, not the easy part. No product is easy to build, but it's much more difficult to get traffic that is relevant. So the marketing has been a challenge and some
Yeah.
battle.
But hey, speaking of LinkedIn, it seems that your focus on that has attracted an audience that really resonates with
Mm,
that message, right? You're speaking to a very specific subset of an audience. Because when
mm,
we first met about a year ago, I remember you had maybe what, a couple thousand
mm,
followers on LinkedIn,
yeah.
and that has more than doubled. You have over 25,000 now. So your message is hitting home with your
It's insane.
audience.
I think it works. Obviously, the 4-day week works really well on LinkedIn, but I think more generally, anything that is like a slightly taboo topic that people maybe have internally, but they don't want to say it out loud, those things do really well. And I'm very passionate about 4-day week. I always have been. So I was quite lucky in that respect that people are thinking these things, but they don't want to say they want a 4-day week, maybe because their boss might think bad things. But we're getting there.
Yeah,
It's getting normalized slowly. Uh,
absolutely. There's been more studies and research into
mm,
it for the productivity gains from 4-day work weeks and whatnot. So I'm very keen to see it become more mainstream
mhm.
and get more adoption. And as you look back, what are some things you know now that you wish you knew when you got started?
When I've done 20 projects over the course of 10, 15 years, and I've only had one or two that have really stuck and have done well. I think this is normal. I've heard it from other people who have had a little bit of online traction that they have so many misses, and I have had so many misses. It's insane. And I think one of the key things that I would take out of that, there's no one rule for all. But I
Yeah.
think when you try and sell to consumers rather than businesses, it makes it much more difficult. B2B is way, in my opinion, easier for many reasons. When you're going for for products, you're just up against bigger players. You're up against people, companies that are trying to target 1 billion customers. Whereas for me, I've got like 300 potential customers out there and I'm happy to get 40 of them. That would be a very comfortable life for me. So I think
Yeah.
just niching down pretty hard and focusing on with businesses with a older, wiser head. I think sometimes about just reverse engineering the problem. Go from where does the money get spent? Companies spend a lot of money on hiring, thousands and thousands. I mean, if you have a recruiter, they will take 25% of your starting salary
Oh,
as a fee. So there's one person getting hired and it would be 25,000 if it was 100,000 salary job. If you start from where the money actually gets spent, I think it makes it easier. And
man.
other things as well, just thinking about it from just how are you going to get the demand? How are you going to get the traffic? Don't think about the product as much. Think about how can you actually get repeatable customers? And for me, it's been all about just seeing what people search for on Google. And, hey ho, a growing number of people are searching for 4-day week jobs and it's rising. And you can spot these trends using tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush. Takes a little bit of research and digging through spreadsheets almost, but if you can see what people are searching for, that's a window into the human brain in some ways. And
Yeah.
I think I would always start with that. Just see what people are searching for and then build a business around it probably.
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned both Href and SEMrush because I meet a lot of people who are either or and they're married to that. Have you used both and do you prefer either?
I think it's funny. Everyone's is tribal, right? It's the same with programming languages. You do Java or you do C Sharp and you hate the other, even though they're very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I just started on Ahrefs just because they had great YouTube tutorials and I've never looked back. I'm sure SEMrush is amazing also.
Awesome. On the flip side, for me, I started with SEMrush about 2 years ago and just it's what I'm used to. But I've
Yeah,
dabbled with Href and they're quite similar. Do certain
very same.
things that,
Yeah.
that do well. What's your go-to tool for site analytics? Are you a Google Analytics guy or is this something
Hmm.
else you dabble with?
I'm not using Google Analytics, and I think the whole world is slowly moving away from it from what I read on Twitter. I don't know. I know there's this update GA4 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
With all the kind of privacy laws, the landscape is changing. I'm using a few things. One's Fathom, which is just like a
Fathom.
privacy focused kind of Google Analytics essentially. Other things, Ahrefs, I use Google Site Search Console, that kind of thing. Also, one that I've recently started using, Post Hog. I don't know if you use this. Quite interesting.
No.
It basically allows you to basically see recorded video sessions of people using your website. There's another one, a big put in the space, but I forgot the name of it. And they also allow you to do like A/B tests, that kind of thing. If I change this
Nice.
button from buy now to get it now or whatever it is, how does that change
Yeah.
conversion? So I've been using that a little bit. But honestly, I probably need to get better at analytics. The whole thing about building a business on your own is there are so many plates to spin to do it all.
Yeah, there is one I've been playing around with lately, and it's owned by Microsoft actually, and it's called Clarity.
You
Microsoft
like it?
Clarity. It's so far so good. It does a lot. It's the heat maps, the recorded
Okay.
sessions, and it may have A/B testing as well. I haven't dabbled with that yet,
Hmm.
but the aspect of it that I'm particularly keen on once they roll it out is an integration with Copilot. That's Copilot AI. I think that'd be very interesting. But with the version I have right now, it's been pretty darn good, especially if you pair it with other analytics tools like you have
Yeah.
already. So
The
worth a look.
the first time you watch one of these recorded sessions is like the most mind blowing thing ever. It was for me anyway. It was just like, no, why are you clicking there? You've got to go there. It's insane when you build a product for so long, you become so comfortable with it, and then you see other people
Yeah.
use it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And as a product guy, that's something increasingly I'm looking into, right? How can I get more intelligent
Mhm.
analytics on how users or customers are interacting with the products that I build so I can more intelligently add
Mhm.
features, deprecate features, or even just the user experience, improve that in general.
What are you using
So
at the moment? Then? Sorry to turn the tables, but you're on is it Webflow and Clarity and anything else?
it's always a flux for me. I'm always experimenting. So Clarity lately, I still have GA turned on for many sites, but I have used Fathom. I'm probably will use Fathom again, just due to the focus on privacy. And also, I believe Fathom is lighter footprint on
Mhm.
sites for performance, right? Because I like building blazing fast
Yeah.
websites, and the less bloat I have there, cluttering things up, the better for me. And that's pretty much it. SEMrush, I also use SEMrush for some sites just to get more insights. That also integrates with other tools. but I also need to up the game on my analytics because now for my day gig, I work for a blockchain company as director of
Nice.
product. And that's something we're looking into. How can we more intelligently bake in analytics into our product suite? So there are tools like Datadog. We have Datadog
Yeah.
and some other tools just to give us analytics. And then I'm going to be looking at layering on some other ones that I'm
Nice.
evaluating. There's amplitude, the segment.
There's a lot
There
of
is,
options, right?
but yeah. So right now I'm just testing a bunch, seeing what works best for us, and then we'll go from there.
Nice.
One thing I can think about that comes to mind with your journey has been focus. When we talked, you were experimenting, and over a year later, you're still going strong. You're still experimenting. I see you've had good traction and you're looking forward. So, what has been this ingredient for you, the sauce?
Honestly, I think, as I say, I've built 20 things and only a couple of stuck. There is some element of luck. You cannot deny that with all businesses. You have to be right time, right place. But the more shots you fire, the more likely you're going to make a hit. And you learn along the way to increase your chances just through all the different tools and software. When I built my first app, I was so naive. I just thought, it's great. I'll put it online and they'll come because it's amazing.
Yeah.
And now I look back on it, I'm just so naive. So I think taking more shots, and then eventually when you do get something to stick, and I've only learned this recently as well, I'm guilty of it, just being focused and really not trying to deviate too much. I have so much desire to build other apps and side projects, and I actually have went a little bit off piste in the last few months, and I had to have a word with myself and be like, no, 4-day week is the project. And how I'm kind of thinking about that is I can do projects within 4-day week that are like a little bit of a side project, or maybe
Mm.
little apps within an app, or like little lead gen, programmatic SEO type things, or whatever it is, automation, anything. So really focusing, trying to avoid shiny objects. I promised myself if I can get to Christmas without doing any other shiny projects, I will allow myself 1 week to do a side project. But yeah, I think that's it. Taking shots and focus when you get something that you'll know it feels different almost.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Especially in our world right now, right? There's the propensity for shiny object syndrome.
Oh
Where
yeah.
there's an information deluge. There's always something online, a new tool, a new article, a video, like so much telling you, try this, try that. And it's very easy
Mm.
to be derailed doing so many things and nothing because you're 2% on each one of them. And that's something I struggle with. So that's sage advice and something I'm working on as
Easier
well.
said.
Yeah, for focus. But I appreciate you getting on with me today. Again, I'm super excited to see your journey and your traction so far, and it's always cool to spotlight what you're working on. So we'll put links in the episode notes for those who are curious to check out your stuff and the projects you've been working on. And yeah, a few months from now to a year again, we're going to look back and see how far you've gone. But yeah, super impressive, Phil. It's been
Thanks a lot,
awesome.
Anebi. And likewise, yeah, I'd be definitely up for that. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.